to call to order our regular meeting for City Council, Monday, March 28, 2022. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54953, members of the Daly City Council and staff will participate in this meeting via teleconference. Members of the public are encouraged to watch the meeting via live stream, City Council meeting live stream at https://bit.ly/DailyCityMAR28 or on local channel 27 on Comcast. Okay, so I'll call to order pledge of the flag. So let's go ahead and start with the pledge of the flag.
Pledge allegiance
Pledge
to
allegiance
the
to the flag of the United States of America and to
the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
All right. Roll call, please, Ms. City Clerk.
Mr. Buenaventura,
I'm present.
Ms. Di Giovanni,
Present.
Ms. Manalo,
Present.
Mr. Sylvester,
Glenn Sylvester, present.
Dr. Rod.
Present. Okay. Oops, wrong agenda. Okay. We have a couple of presentations. So we have one presentation by Love Daly City, Citywide Community Volunteer Opportunities with Bob Eusebio II, Pastor Emeritus, and Marlon Valladares, Pastor. Sorry for for miscommunicating your name. But go right ahead with your presentation.
Okay. Good evening, City Council, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, and council members and city officials. Thank you so much for inviting Pastor Marlon Valladares from Westlake Community Baptist Church on Elmwood Drive. And my name is Bob Eusebio, pastor of Livingstone Ministries of Daly City on 87th Street. Just a short testimony. My wife Hazel and I have, when we moved to Daly City, I promised that we were going to move back to San Diego after a year. And but things change. And after 31 years of being of being a resident of Daly City, I don't think we're going anywhere. This is home. And if you don't mind, I'm going to share from my heart. I really feel that God has had wonderful plans for our marriage, for our family, and as residents of the Franciscan Mobile Park, if you're familiar with our mobile park here in Daly City. Pastor Marlon and I belong to the Pastoral Ministerium of Daly City, and about 8 months ago, we were inspired by a ministry in Modesto called Love Our Cities. And the director of this ministry, he encouraged Daly City to consider an event with the purpose of bringing our community together with some projects that would help us work together, partner together, but also bring about a sense of unity in our community. And so our core leaders involves Pamela Di Giovanni, who's been at a couple of our events, and also Officer Randy Ortiz, who serves on Daly City Police Department, is also partnering on the core leaders team. And so I spoke to the director at Love Our Cities, and they started their first event at Love Modesto years ago. And their first event, they were hoping to get 100 people. They ended up with an attendance of 1,200. In 2019, when they had their next event, they had about 7,500 members of Modesto join in, and they grew in all their projects around the city. And so we have 3 projects that Pastor Marlon is going to present in just a moment. But the purpose of our meeting here tonight is to request use of the Daly City Hall parking lot for April 30th, 2022. And at this time, I'd like to pass on to Pastor Marlon to do a short presentation of our event called Love Daly City.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. Is it okay if I share a video or slides? What would be most appropriate?
Pastor, I'm actually able to share your video if you'd like. I can start with that.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Just 1 second.
Have you ever seen a problem and thought, somebody should do something to fix it? We believe that somebody can be you. We want to give you that opportunity. Love Daly City is a volunteer movement with the vision to love our city so that it will thrive. And we accomplish this through an annual citywide volunteer day. We have 3 areas for volunteering: love, feed, and clean. Love, giving physical and/or emotional support to help the body and mind. Feed, providing food and grocery items. Clean, removing trash to keep our neighborhoods looking great. Join us to help make Daly City a place of good neighbors. Love Daly City. Perfect. Yeah, you can tell that's my voice. I put a cartoon character because I'm better at my voice than my looks. Again, Mr. Mayor and City Council, I just want to highlight what we're trying to do on April 30th. You saw the 3 areas: love, feed, and clean. Love, we've been able to partner with Second Harvest Food Bank, and we're going to be distributing, I believe, Bob, correct me if I'm wrong, about 200 boxes of food.
We're able to get that up to 300, Pastor
300.
Marlon.
Yeah. And this is separate from the already food drive that's going on at Jefferson Union High School. This is going to be near the top of the hill, Daly City, at Good News Fellowship Church. That's going to handle our food part. Our cleaning part is we're hoping to clean up Mission Street, starting at the bottom of where the Colma border is, going all the way to the top of the hill, Daly City. And as far as our love part, we've partnered with Ann Cooney of the Dolger Center.
Amen.
And we have about 6 churches involved at this time, and each church has been required to make at least 100 new cards that we're going to be giving out to seniors either on that day or sending them to other individuals who can't get out. And so this is something we're hoping to do every year. This year is our first event, and hopefully it'll be bigger. Right now, we are asking all our churches to participate, but it's not just for churches. Anyone can participate, and our website is lovedalycity.com, and you can go there and register and see what other events there are to be there. But again, like Bob, he mentioned coming to Daly City. I was raised in South San Francisco. I apologize for that, but I love Daly City. I've come to not only love it and cherish it, I've also come to the point where I want to protect it and maintain it and cause it to flourish. And throughout this pandemic and stuff, it's caused me as a pastor to reach out to the community, and reaching out to Officer Ortiz has also allowed me to reach out personally to Dr. Marenko at Thornton High School. I've been able to provide some of my video services that I do. And Pastor Bob and I and other pastors, we just want to let our city know we want to be a positive influence. We want to serve. We want to do things that will inspire others, again, to be good neighbors. So that's really all I have.
And I just wanted, Pastor Marlon, I just wanted to add that Ann Cooney from Dolger Senior Center has been very, very enthusiastic and positive about partnering with us. We want to recognize our senior citizens in Daly City. They've been around the block. They've got a lot of hard knocks experience in life, but they ended up settling down in Daly City, and we want to show them how much we appreciate who they are in Daly City. And so With the cooperation of about 6 churches right now, our first year, we've got hundreds of thank you cards that we're going to be sending out to them. Ann Cooney has prepared on the 23rd at Dolger Center to prepare a table for Love Daly City so we can distribute the cards. And so we're very, very grateful for her participation, but we're also grateful for Councilperson Pam, who's been very enthusiastic in this new ministry and also our first ever event. We're anticipating probably about 300 of the community that will be showing up that day, but we're hoping that we're going to get a bigger turnout based on word of mouth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pastor Marlin and Pastor Bob. I know we have some words from my fellow colleagues, so I'll start off with Councilmember Justin Manalo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you so much to both pastors who presented this amazing event. It's always wonderful to see how you could bring people together. I remember Pastor John Grusi, who reached out and said that you all had met as 5 pastors to really bring this together back in September. And it's so wonderful to see it come to fruition this spring. I think that when community members come together, that it's just beautiful, from young children to old, just teaching them at a young age to be able to be good community members. I love that, you know, you're honoring our elders. I think in our communities, it's really important that we honor our older adults. And really, I can tell there's a lot of thought and energy towards this. And the name itself, Love Daly City, it sounds wonderful. So thank you for this. I'm also a local that grew up in Daly City ever since I was 8 years old, and now raising my family. And so this is something that we do love. We love Daly City and we care about Daly City deeply. So thank you for your leadership to both of you and all the pastors and all the churches involved. Thank you so much.
Councilmember Pamela DiGiovanni.
First of all, so great to see you two, and missed everybody. You didn't know that I had that eye surgery, so that's why I haven't been able to attend the last one. But I'm back on board. Thanks be to God, and blessed that you guys are continuing and forming it and doing everything you can to make sure that we have our community together, honoring everyone here, and it's full of love. And what else could there be, right? So I'm looking forward to the next meeting, and then somebody can text me. That'd be great. And I see how it's already evolved and grown already. So that tells you about the hard work, the foundation that you guys provided, and the reason behind it, and why it's led by so much love for our city. It's beautiful. And I look forward to that day. I know all the hard work you guys are doing, but it'll be like flourishing. I feel it. I just know it will. So blessings and love, and looking forward to it. And Randy Ortiz, wherever you are, thank you as well. Our Daly City PD, our firefighters, Pitt, everybody, right? And your wives and everybody. So I'll see you in the next one. And I'm very humbled to be a part of it. And this is a flourishing time for all of us, and well needed, especially because of COVID. So thank you. So thank you, blessings.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Definitely. Councilmember Glenn Sylvester.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me see, let me lower my hand here. I'd like to make a couple of comments, if I may. And the first is to Pastor Subio. Until you provide a story, especially your own personal story, connections can be made. And in the case of San Diego, and how you explained coming from San Diego, well, I was quite the opposite. Since 1999 to the time I retired in 2011, I traveled to San Diego many times, sometimes twice a month, to train law enforcement. And I came home and I told my wife, if we were to leave Daly City, we would go to San Diego. But of course, that has since changed. And my son, another reason why we were down there, my son went to San Diego State. So I feel the connection there, and I appreciate your story. For Pastor Valadares, I'm not going to forget your name, because I worked with a police officer and her name was Marsha Valadares. So I definitely, that brings back memories. So it's those little tiny connections that I'm bringing up. Today I received an email correspondence from one of our representatives for age, Daly City is an age-friendly city. And there's a representative there, part of the committee, who would like to be involved. And she put out something to the group saying that she's going to request to become involved, a Miss Phyllis Rizzo of the Bayshore. So you'll be hearing from her. She's one of our seniors, and she's very well spoken, and you'll be hearing from her. And she definitely wants to be involved in regards to the senior aspect. I'd like to say congratulations on your project. This will augment many other programs that we have in Daly City, especially our recent one called Clean Daly City. So I wish you all the best of luck. And I think you're putting Daly City on the mark in the sense that other cities will perhaps follow this same program. So I commend you both. I wish you the best of luck, and you have my full and complete support. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pastor Eusebio, I know you had your hands up. I don't know if you would like to share.
Yes. I'm not very good at marketing or public, anything that has to do with public connections, but I sent a very simple email to a news reporter by the name of Betty Yu with KPIX, and she responded, and she said that she will talk to her producers, and whatever the action that is going on at the end of April, she was going to see if she can come out to Daly City and interview our city for the event Love Daly City. So we hope that she can do that, but we'll see what happens. I just wanted to mention that.
Pastor, Vice Mayor Ray Buenaventura.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank the pastors for all getting together, and I would actually invite you all to open up your tent even more. I know that Father Leonard Oakes of the Holy Child in St. Martin's Church in Daly City, he's been very involved in Daly City and in the community. So if you would perhaps open up your tent a little more and reach out to more people, I think that would be great. But that's an awesome program you're doing, and I wish you all the best, and I think it's great. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilmember Pamela DiGiovanni.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that Councilmember Bonaventura, that appreciate that the new father is Father Jurek, and I believe you did send an email out to our church, Holy Child in St. Martin's, that Oaks is no longer there, but I appreciate the sentiment about Holy Child St. Martin being involved, and thank you for mentioning my church. Councilmember Bonaventura, it's a great opportunity for everybody to come together. They actually said, how many, Pastor Marlon and Pastor Bob, how many they sent out to all our churches?
Back in August, yes. We sent out, including St. Martin. I don't know if they got our email, but it was in the form of email to about 60 churches in Daly City.
Yeah.
And so we feel that it could be at this time that God has different plans for each individual church. There's so much work going on in our city. And so hopefully maybe next year they'll feel called to want to participate. But I took a note down for St. Martin Church, and I'm more than happy to reach out to their office this week.
I'll send you Father Jurk's cell number.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, pastors. I also feel like the work that you are doing is also aligned with the values and approaches to Daly City. I just gave a whole state of the city address, and a lot of things that we were talking about in terms of providing food for those that are food insecure, to reach out to seniors, to provide a cleaner Daly City. It's closely aligned to what we strive for in Daly City. So I thank both of you all for putting together this event, and hopefully this becomes something that's tradition in our city. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mm-hmm. All right. Do you have any other final comments or no? No? Okay. So thank you for coming to our meeting, and
Thank you.
We'll be in contact. Thank you so much.
God bless you, everybody. Thank you.
God bless you too.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Our second presentation for today is proclaiming the week of April 3rd to April 9, 2022 as National Library Week in Daly City. We have Teresa Falpua, Library Board of Trustees President, and Patricia De Vera, Daly City Public Library Associate Board President. So I'll go ahead and read it off on the screen here. So libraries are accessible, whereas libraries are accessible, inclusive places that foster a sense of communication or connection and build community. And whereas libraries connect people to technology, providing access to broadband internet, computers, and training that are critical for accessing education, employment opportunities. And whereas libraries offer opportunities for everyone to connect with new ideas and become their best selves through access to multimedia content, programs, and classes, in addition to books. And whereas in times of crisis, libraries and library professionals play an invaluable role in supporting their communities, both in person and virtually. And whereas libraries strive to develop and maintain programs and collections that are as diverse as the populations they serve and ensure equity of access for all. And whereas libraries strive to develop, whereas to adapt to our changing world, libraries are expanding their resources and continue to meet the needs of their patrons. And whereas libraries have long served as trusted and treasured institutions for all members of community, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status. And whereas libraries are cornerstones of democracy, promoting the free exchange of information and ideas for all. And whereas librarians and library workers are joining library supporters and advocates across the nation to celebrate National Library Week. Now, therefore, I, Radas Magbual, Mayor, and the members of the City Council of Daly City do hereby proclaim April 3 through the 9th, 2022 as National Library Week in Daly City. During this week, we encourage all residents to connect with their library by visiting online or in person to access resources and services. And I believe we have Teresa Falpua from Library Board Trustees President, and Patricia De Vera, who is the Daly City Public Library Associate Board President, here to accept the proclamation. If you all have a couple of words to share, I'd appreciate it.
Mayor, Teresa Falpua is unable to make it tonight.
Okay.
But she let me know she would have been really honored to accept this proclamation.
Great. Not a problem. But we also have Patricia De Vera here as well.
I am here.
Yes.
Thank you very mumuch. Good evening, Mayor Radas Magbual and the entire City Council. On behalf of the Daly City Public Library Associates and alongside the Library Board of Trustees, we are pleased to accept the proclamation April 3 through 9, 2022 as National Library Week. We celebrate and thank all that the libraries and librarians contribute to our communities and promote the use and support of our public libraries. The Honorary Chair for National Library Week 2022, Molly Shannon, Emmy-nominated and Spirit Award-winning actress, stated it well. And as I reiterate what the proclamation states, libraries are places where communities connect to things like broadband, computers, programs, classes, books, movies, video games, and more. But most importantly, libraries connect us to each other. To our Daly City community, please continue to advocate for our libraries. For the Daly City Public Library Associates, and again for the library board, on behalf of the Library Board of Trustees, thank you so much for this proclamation. Have a great evening, and thank you again.
Thank you so much, Patricia. We have Vice Mayor Ray Buenaventura.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I wanted to acknowledge and thank Tricia De Vera for all the tremendous work that she's doing. She was also a former library commissioner, as was I, and also as was Mayor Rod. So we all come from your same pedigree of serving on the library board. I think you're doing a great job. I think the DCPLA lunch was a tremendous success, and I think you're starting off really great, and your commitment to serve the libraries is really having an effect, and you're making a presence. So I guess the only question I have for you, is there going to be a trivia night in November? Because I heard you go to that.
You better, there should be, and I will be there.
All right.
Thank you so much for all the kind words. Thank you so much for your support as well. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Next up, we have Councilmember Pamela DiGiovanni.
Oh, she's on mute.
Oh, Councilmember Pamela DiGiovanni, you are on mute right now. Oh, you're still on mute. Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
There you go.
Sorry about that. President De Vera, even saying that your name like that represents something that's long overdue, because you know your leadership and you know your pedigree, right? And
Thank you.
We can't escape that DNA that you have, albeit you have formed your own leadership, right, out of that, because your heart and your compassion and your drive for your community and what really matters. And when everything is all like technology and the libraries are keeping up with the technology, but you're right, it's where communities come together. And that we don't want to lose in our city, in our communities. And to our Board of Trustees, Teresa Vapur and the Board of Trustees, I know that you guys keep advocating. It was a fabulous event. I know that we're going to talk about it later, that you could just feel the love in the room to be together again. And I do think that is what brings us together, the commonality. And for those that have not joined DCPLA, I'd like to encourage you to renew your membership, right?
Right.
President?
Yes, thank you so much for, thanks for the advertisement. Yes.
It doesn't take much. It's only $20 minimum, but generosity really feeds and flourishes, and they use every single dollar for our community. That I can attest to. So for everyone out there, let's just keep our libraries going. To President Fatua and the other members, the trustees, and to all of us who love the libraries. So let's keep it moving and keep those hours, and hopefully we can keep expanding. So thank you so much, and thank you to all of them, and Victoria, your board, and everyone. So thank you
so much. Thanks so much, Pam. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
No problem. Thank you. Councilmember Justin Manalo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, President De Vera, for being here and all your work to support the libraries. I think it's just wonderful that we have committed community members like yourself that really give back and ensure that our libraries are thriving. I recall my first experience at Top of the Hill, John Daly Library, when now it's museum, but that library was my first time I stepped into a Daly City Public Library in my elementary school years. And I'll never forget what I did is I went in there, I tried to look for a book, and I found a book on the Philippines. And it was on the cover of it was a young boy, like with a big smile. And it just talked about, it was about the food, the culture, but I gravitated to that, and I still remember that moment. And so that moment for me was so special, going into that Top of the Hill library, that to this very day, being, okay, I'll say my age, 42. 42 years old, it still brings a memory to my mind, right? And that what book I chose. And I mean, so it's tremendous work. I know it's a digital world now, but still, like those moments, whether it's picking up an iPad, using a computer or whatnot, but just being able to be there as for the community is huge. So thank you so much for all the work to the DCPLA, to the library staff. It's just amazing. And I know that these libraries are community hubs for people.
Yes, most definitely.
Young and old. So
yes.
thank you.
Yes, I agree. Thank you so much.
Councilmember Glenn Sylvester.
Thank you, Mayor. I had to rush to the room very quickly, so I temporarily left because I, first of all, want to apologize that I couldn't make the event, which wasn't really far from me. So I ran to the room to show you that I was going to wear my green tie.
Okay, I guess I could give you that.
So,
you're off the
hook. and I wanted to wear it so much because it was a funny tie. It's got a picture of a duck. So I just wanted to bring that out there. But in all honesty, Patricia, I was listening and you said something about broadband. What? We now have broadband at our libraries, and I thought it was just Wi-Fi. But when you say broadband, broadband means speed and quick access and no waiting time. So I'm very, very happy to hear that. I like to thank you. Okay, hi. I'd like to thank Teresa Faapua for her work on the commission and all the commissioners on the Library Commission. They do such great work and they continue to push being part of DC, the libraries, and thanks to DCPLA Victoria as well. Yeah. And one of the commissioners, I must say, reminded me, hey, make sure you up your membership. And so, you know, I submitted a check for 5 times the membership.
Awesome.
And unbeknownst to me, I just received a letter that a commissioner paid for my membership as well. So I have no problem at all. All the funds are going right to the library. So it's a good thing.
Yes.
Thank you. Congratulations to our libraries, and they will continue to grow with you folks, especially at the helm. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Vice Mayor Ray Bonaventura.
I wanted to just actually make one final comment. As I was watching you, Tricia,
yes,
I could not just, I can't, your Tita must be so proud of you. For most of you who or maybe don't know, Tita Erlinda was also a library commissioner, and Tricia stepped in and took her spot, basically. And so I just, as I look at you and I see you on screen and what you're saying, what you're doing, it reminds me so much of what Tita Erlinda was all about. And that was about the library. So I could not let that moment pass without giving acknowledgement and recognition to your great aunt. So
oh, thank you so much. Yes, I feel her every time I'm here talking with all of you. So yes, bless her soul.
Yes.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I think all my colleagues have said it. I just want to say thank you for everything that you do and support. We'll be providing all of our community reports later on in the meeting, but you know, the DCPLA luncheon was beautiful. Brought the community together, and as a person that was a former board of trustee for the libraries, you're keeping that heartbeat alive for the libraries and keeping it accessible for the whole range of our population here in Daly City. So thank you so much, Patricia.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Appreciate it.
Thank you. For sure. Okay, so moving on in our agenda, let's see. Approval of minutes. Can I get a motion to approval of minutes for regular meeting of March 14, 2022?
Glenn Sylvester, I'll make the motion.
So we have a first by Councilmember Glenn Sylvester and then a second by Councilmember Justin Manalo. All those in favor say aye.
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 I
Okay. Approval of the consent agenda. Are there any items that my colleagues wish to have further discussion? All right. Seeing none, can I get a motion for the approval of the consent agenda, please?
motion to
Sylvester,
approve.
motion.
Okay, so I have a first by Councilmember Justin Manalo and a second by Councilmember Glenn Sylvester. I think I forgot one approval of can I get a motion for the approval of agenda, please?
Glenn Sylvester, I'll make the motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Councilmember Glenn Sylvester. Second by Councilmember Pamela T. Giovanni. All right. All right. So we have public number 7.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr.
can we
Mayor.
have an approval of the consent agenda?
Oh, that's right.
I think there was a
Approval of
first and a second.
Yes. All those in favor for the approval of consent agenda?
I
Aye.
We did that.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Zimmerman. Okay. Moving on to public hearings. Item number 7, public hearing proposed ordinance amending Chapter 2.58 of the Daly City Municipal Code, Small Business Commission, meeting frequency, and I'll hand it over to Brandon Phipps.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, and thank you for the introduction. Vice Mayor and City Council, the item before you this evening pertains to the Small Business Commission, which was established in line with the adoption of Ordinance Number 1435. As originally written in the approved ordinance, the 5-member commission holds 6 regularly scheduled meetings per year, taking place on the second Thursday of every other month. Based on feedback from City Council and members of the Small Business Commission, it was indicated to staff that there was an interest in increasing the frequency of Small Business Commission meetings from 6 to 12 regularly scheduled meetings per year. And to confirm this interest, staff distributed a survey to small business commissioners in November 2021, requesting their feedback and comment. And the results of the survey confirmed our suspicion, demonstrated unanimous interest from members of the commission in increasing the frequency from 6 to 12. So with that in mind, staff is recommending that council approve the attached revised ordinance, which reflects the increase in meeting frequency. And that will do it. Thank you very much for your time. I am available to answer any questions or provide any additional information desired by mayor or council members.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Phipps. First up the bat, Councilmember Justin Manalo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Mr. Phipps, for your presentation. I am happy to see that this is on the agenda this evening. You know, giving support to our small businesses is so important, and having a committee meet more so, and seeing that commissioners are actually wanting to meet and give back to the community, and more of their time and the effort is wonderful to see. You know, over the course of 2 years, we know that some businesses unfortunately didn't survive, but there are businesses that are thriving. And I think we all know how important it is to ensure that our small businesses thrive, as they're the backbone of our local economy and community. We know that small restaurants are the restaurant industry is part of that economy, and to be able to provide an opportunity for these commissioners to dive deeper instead of meeting, and I don't even know how many times they had met last year. I think this is the step in the right direction, and it's wonderful to see that when commissioners want to give more of their time, their commitment, you know, they're not getting paid. I think it's wonderful. just like the Arts and Culture Commission. I think it's just a wonderful thing. And this is similar to that. There's going to be more meetings where small business commissioners want to put their time and effort. It's something that's a beautiful thing. And so I'm in full support of this and looking forward to vote on this item. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Just Manalo. Councilmember Glenn Sylvester.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to say, out of all the commissions that we have in the city, there's a uniqueness about each one of these commissions. And that is the representative from staff who serves on these commissions. So what I'm leading to is the point that Mr. Phipps, the work you have done, the information you have provided, how you guide these commissioners, because they are all new, is a testament. And now to hear that they would like to meet every month, it is a testament of the, I'm trying to think of the right word, the glue that holds everything together, but that's not the right word. But you understand where I'm coming from. So until we finish the comments, I definitely support this initiative, and I would gladly make a motion that we move forward and adopt this resolution. Thank you.
Second.
I have it. I still have my hand up.
Right. And we have a first, second. I'm still accepting a comment. So Councilmember Pamela DiGiovanni.
Thank you. Before we make a second. So I just want to say thank you, Mr. Phipps, with your leadership, and concur with a lot of things that they said. Also, we know that they're very busy, and which some of them, their businesses has actually picked up after the COVID. In particular, you know, like for me, I know Air Lollipops, because not because she's my commissioner, but Maria and what she does and gives back to the community, and Charles and the other commissioners. So not only do they do that, they work hard hours, and you know it. So for them to even, when I saw it was unanimous, that's great feedback. And to give them the survey themselves and let them have their own voice, which that is what we're supposed to be doing, and let them have their own guidance. I appreciate that they do that, and for the leadership. So I'd like to see where it goes. And only one thing. The only feedback I got was, would you mind, whoever sends the calendar out, the meeting notices to them, it's just a little tidbit, to please put the dates of the meeting on their calendar. They were saying so that they will have a reminder, because some of them are working long hours, and that way they'll have a little reminder. I think it pops up and gives them a reminder. That's the only thing. They said that would be very, very helpful in that manner. But other than that, I appreciate the enthusiasm by council members, but I would like to have the opportunity to speak. My hand had been up, and to be respectful of others is very important. So thank you. With that, I appreciate it and fully support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Pamela DiGiovanni. Vice Mayor Ray Bonaventura.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is what I'm talking about when I spoke last meeting about the need to get our commissioners more involved and to welcome their input and their advice on things. And this is an example of a commission that has stepped up, like the Arts and Culture Commission, and said we want to meet more. And so I applaud that. And I think that's a really good thing for our commissions to do, to take that proactive approach and be rewarded for it by recognizing that we appreciate their willingness to serve the city and the community. So I wholeheartedly agree that this is something that it was due. I actually thought they should have been meeting much more, but I recognize this was a project that just started and there's some ramping up time that needs to be done. The other thing that I comment on is something I've wanted to see happen with these commissions. And what I'm speaking of is, so very often, the only way I really know what's going on is if I watch the commission meetings, which I do, in fact, watch, and I speak to the commission members. But I think more interaction with the commission would be great. And maybe even like having the president report to the city council as an agendized item, and telling us what their plans are, what they're thinking, what are the things we can do to facilitate or encourage a certain direction. Because I find some of those meetings quite fascinating, particularly the Small Business Commission, because your commissioners come up with some really good ideas. And I would just love to be a part of trying to develop them and show them that we are supportive and we're listening. And so I think that would be a good idea. Like, for example, the library, they do a lot of that. The library commissioners and the DCPLA, they come on council and they speak. And I think a good part would be served if the Business Commission did that as well. So thank you, and I support it.
Vice Mayor Ray Ventura, I think that's a fantastic idea, Vice Mayor, to get more engagement with our other commissions. I think that's a very, very superb idea. I am also in support of the increasing the frequency of meeting. It also shows alignment of all the different boards and commissions in terms of their dedication and consistency in terms of meeting and providing this space of dialogue. So I'm totally in support of that, of it. It also shows engagement and empowerment for the commissions and sharing the same points as Councilmember Justin Manalo, like, to have the Arts and Culture Commission do their work and, have the vested interest in looking at ways to deepen their work. Same thing with the Small Business Commission and all the other boards and commissions. This is one way to provide more engagement, more empowerment for our city and our trustees and commissioners. And, with the Small Business Commission meeting more frequently, hopefully this will help engage small businesses to help turn the corner on the pandemic, COVID-19, and issues around economics. So I know we have a first already and a second. So
Mr. Mayor, I apologize.
Yes.
This is an ordinance, so procedurally, I think we just open and close public hearing.
Okay.
If there's any public hearing, and then move for a motion.
Got
for
you.
City attorney.
All right. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing?
Motion to open the public hearing.
Okay. Got a first.
Second.
And a second by Councilmember Glenn Sylvester. Are there any public comments for this agenda item?
For those members of the public who wish to comment on item number 7, please click the raise hand feature to speak on that agenda item. For those joining by phone, press *9 to raise your hand. No hands raised.
All right, can I get a motion to close the public hearing, please?
Motion to close.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Justin Manalo and a second by, did I get a second?
Yeah, Glenn Sylvester.
Okay, Councilmember Glenn Sylvester. Okay. Can we get a motion for the city attorney to read by title only?
Motion to read by title only.
Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Sylvester, I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Pamela DiGiovanni.
We can get a voice vote on that, Mayor.
Oh, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay,
Aye.
thank you. Okay, thank you. Council, this is an ordinance of the City of Daly City amending section 2.58.060 of Title 2 of the Daly City Municipal Code regarding Small Business Commission meetings. And we'll entertain a council member to introduce the ordinance.
Glenn Sylvester, I'll gladly accept.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Communications, item number 8, Coastal Development Permit, Use Permit, UPR-2-22-15536, on-site movement of landfill waste at Muscle Rock Landfill, 150 West Line Drive. And I'll hand it over to Mr. Michael Van Lookhuizen for the presentation.
Yes, members of the City Council, Honorable Mayor, this item was forwarded to you by the City Planning Commission. This is a request by the City of Daly City to conduct maintenance at the Muscle Rock landfill. Everybody knows where the landfill is. Hopefully it's at Muscle Rock. There's a kind of a passive park in this area that's used, and as many of you may be aware, there is a closed landfill at this location. The proposed maintenance improvements include removing landfill waste from the upper north canyon face, estimated to be an average of 10 feet below existing grade, and dispose of the excavated materials on site at the disposal cell located approximately a quarter mile to the south. There's also a proposal by the city to construct a drainage swale to guide drainage away from the area and hydroseed the area upon completion. Sometime back, it was discovered by the city that there was a landfill being exposed. So trash material, coming to the within site, and the city needed to take action. I believe the city council has authorized funding for this, and this is the coastal development permit to execute that work. This is essentially the maintenance plan. It shows from an aerial satellite where the project limits are with regard to this permit within the red area, showing where the material is going to be taken from, and the location of the where the landfill material would be deposited. There's a minimum distance of 30 feet from the bluff edge for the area where the material is being taken away, just to give some context. These are some site photos showing what this essentially old landfill like trash looks like. It's being exposed. It was discovered again back in January, and the city is taking steps to move this material from one portion of the Muscle Rock site to another portion, so that the material does not end up obviously down on the beach or on the ocean. That's of course what we would like to avoid. Here's another area of that shows some of the sloughing of the earth material in this area that's causing this problem. Here's just another photograph from January of this year. The proposed action is consistent with the city's coastal development program. No buildings or structures are improved. There are no improvements within 50 feet of the bluff edge. There are no permanent foundations. Public access to the coast is not impeded. As I'd mentioned, that there's a passive recreation area that exists at Muscle Rock, and none of that would be affected by this work. The proposal is consistent with the Resource Protection Combining District. This area is zoned open space with a resource protection overlay, and the grading that would occur by the city meets the requirements of the state of California and the city of Daly City. There's no adverse impacts of the site or adjacent areas. There's no endangerment of life or property, and there's no protective structures that are required to complete the work. Proposals exempt from CEQA. And again, the Planning Commission took a look at this on March 1st. There were some comments that were outlined in the City Council staff report, and the Planning Commission did recommend that the City Council adopt the findings and an environmental assessment, and also approve the coastal development permit. If there's any questions, planning staff as well as engineering staff is present to answer those.
Thank you, Michael. At this point, I'd like to open up the conversation to my colleagues. Councilmember Pamela DiGiovanni. Sorry, Councilmember Pam, your mic is off.
Computer. Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Michael, so what happened? Because supposedly something occurred to where there was the waste was falling at Muscle Rock?
Yes, that's essentially correct. I can let the engineering staff add to, or maybe answer your question more fully, but essentially, yes, there's sloughing of earth material, and you can kind of see it from this
All right.
aerial. This is actually looking toward the Muscle Rock landfill site from above the ocean. And this material is starting to slough away, and it's exposing basically what's old trash underneath. And this sloughing is a natural thing that occurs over time with wave erosion. And it's just something that we have to deal with from time to time.
So this is not just going to be a one-time thing. It will be ongoing, obviously, for the erosion.
Sure. This question came up at the Planning Commission meeting about, whether this is a one-time thing. The city's seeking this permit tonight to take care of the immediate, problem that we have in front of us. The city's undertaking, I believe, a study to find out if this is a more widespread problem. I don't know if engineering wants to add to that, but that's essentially our understanding of the situation.
Is that Kevin?
Yeah, no, Mike, that's correct. We are engaging with consultants in order to do a further study, more long-term, and a look at this landslide. But for now, the CDP takes care of the immediate issue while we engage some professional sort of landslide experts in the area. And we do intend to bring back more information to council at a future date.
Great, thank you. Hopefully we can get some grants to try to help. But thank you very much, and thanks, Mike. Thank you to engineering. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Justin Manalo.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. Given the presentation and what needs to be done, it's quite obvious. We need to do something, and so I'm ready to support the next steps in order to see what needs to be done, and so there's not a continuance of this. So, thank you. So with that, I'm happy to make a motion to approve this. Is it a hearing, Mr. Mayor?
It's not a hearing, council member.
Or communication.
Unless there is public comment, we can take public comment.
Well, a motion to approve this item. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All right. Okay. So we have a first and a second. Madam City Clerk.
Mr. Buenaventura,
Aye.
Ms. DiGiovanni. Ms. DiGiovanni,
Sorry, having trouble with my hand. Aye.
Ms. Manalo,
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester,
Len Sylvester, aye.
Dr. Rod.
Aye. Okay. All right, so the motion passes. Moving on to ordinances. Item number 9, second reading, ordinance number 1454, repealing and replacing chapter 8.64, subject regulating the use of disposable food serviceware. And I'll pass it to Ms. Zimmerman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. This is the second reading of ordinance number 1454. It came before the council by introduction. It is an ordinance to repeal and replace chapter 8.64, regulating the use of disposable food serviceware. I'll entertain a motion.
And to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Justin Manalo and a second by Vice Mayor Ray Ventura. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Buenaventura,
Aye.
Ms. DiGiovanni,
Aye.
Ms. Manalo,
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester,
Len Sylvester, aye.
Dr. Rod.
Aye. All right, motion passes. Moving along, we have second reading ordinance number 1455, adding chapter 15.80 to the Daly City Municipal Code, subject on electrical vehicle charging stations. And I'll hand it again back to our city attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. This ordinance came before the council by way of introduction at the last regularly scheduled City Council meeting. This is the second reading of ordinance number 55, adding chapter 15.80 regarding electrical vehicle charging stations. And we will entertain a motion.
Sylvester, I'll make the motion.
So Councilmember Glenn Sylvester makes the motion. Do I have a second? I'll go ahead and second it. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Buenaventura,
Aye.
Ms. DiGiovanni,
Aye.
Ms. Manalo,
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester,
Glenn Sylvester, aye.
Dr. Rod.
Aye. Okay. Moving along here, we have public appearances and oral communications. And I'll hand it to Leilani if we have any public appearances or oral communications.
In accordance with the Brown Act laws governing regular meetings, the City Council is not authorized to speak to or take action on any other items in this meeting. Members of the public who wish to comment may click the raise hand feature to raise your hand to speak. For those joining by phone, press *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute. It is important to note that staff will announce the name of the last person whose hand was raised upon calling for public comment, and that person will be the last verbal comment. If additional speakers queue up after the last called speaker, the mayor may continue to allow public comment if time allows. Otherwise, public comment may be emailed to cityclerk@dalycity.org to be added to the record and shared with the City Council. When you hear your name called, staff will send you a request to unmute your microphone and you may begin speaking. Each person will receive a maximum of 2 minutes to speak and may only speak once. When your 2 minutes have been reached, we ask that you wrap up your comments. Speakers not in compliance will be muted. Any use of profanity will result in the speaker being muted immediately. We have no hands, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Leilani. Moving on to appointments, board commission, membership committee appointments. Do we have anybody that'd like to appoint or reappoint anybody? All right, I have two today. I would like to reappoint Nate Ramos on the Board of Recreation. Can I do them as a dual roles, or do I have to do it one by one?
We would have to do motions for each appointment.
Okay.
Second.
All right. We got a first and a second for Nate Ramos. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you. Also make a motion to reappoint Justine Santos on the Library Board of Trustees. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Second by Councilmember Justin Manalo. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you. Let's see here. Moving on to council committee reports. Council committee meetings from March 10th to March 23rd.
I think we have a city council committee report, or council committee report, Mayor
yeah.
Dasmagwal. We had a CDBG
Oh, yeah.
meeting, right? Regarding CDBG funds and then ARP allocations.
Right, you're completely correct. I was looking at my notes. I was like, where? Put that. Councilmember Justin Manalo, would you like to go ahead and introduce, and then I could follow up?
Okay, sure. You know, we had a CDBG advisory subcommittee. It was around the 2022-2023 CDBG allocations, as well as home funding prior to the release to our, or actually it was about our home art funds, as mentioned. And what was discussed is really being able to have the funding allocations for CDBG and the home funds for the year. What we talked about was how we would allocate some of the home funds to ensure that there would be a total of $1,246,147 available to help with affordable rental housing development. And then also with the American Rescue Plan ARP. We talked about how we are eligible as a city to receive 1,411,179 in-home art funds. And so the action plan was for the allocation of these funding allocations from both entities. And that's what we discussed. Overall, we both agreed on the recommendations, and that those recommendations will be brought forth to City Council. Anything?
I think you got them straight on. So it'll be coming to an agenda soon, and we'll be talking about, we'll be distributing those specific ARPA funds. Okay. We also had a meeting with myself and staff and Councilmember Justin Manalo with folks from Youth Leadership Institute, Rod Spikes, and Ali. Oh my God, I forgot her last name. But we had a meeting talking about providing more resources and education around sexual harassment. There has been a growing local movement in San Francisco and also in Daly City about sexual harassment and addressing issues of toxic masculinity and providing resources and educational spaces for students to have places to talk about issues such as sexual harassment, and also providing more trainings for teachers. And where we come to play is to provide more resources and educational spaces and dialogues when we talk about mental health and discussing things like sensitive issues as sexual harassment and trauma in our communities. So we had a very fruitful discussion. And I think it's just step one to more meetings to have our youth feel safe in their schools and in the community, and really to really discuss the hard issues of toxic masculinity in our community. So Councilmember Justin Manalo, if you'd like to add anything.
I just want to say thank you, Mayor Dasmagwal, for convening the committee together and bringing the youth to the table, most especially having their voices heard, and having those leaders bring forth a sensitive topic that's not necessarily at the forefront. And so I think that was shared leadership, and it's always great to see young people bring awareness and also their courage around what you talked about, them feeling safe and really feeling safe wherever they are, whether it's in school or wherever they may be. And it just was great that you were able to also share what you're going to do around the initiative that you have, Mr. Mayor, around the mental health first aid, right? So there's all these really essential, should be baseline trainings for everyone. And I'm really glad to see that that's going to be provided for the community. And so that's all I have to say about this topic. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Justin Manalo. We also talked about ideas of putting into practice restorative justice practices in our schools, and hopefully we'll have a more robust discussion as we invite members of the JUHSD board to discuss this. This is an issue that many youth are talking about, and I think it's, if it's an issue that's affecting them, it's affecting our future. and we want to be a model and a beacon of hope for discussing issues such as this. Okay. Are there any other council committee reports?
Mr. Mayor, we've had a busy 2 weeks, I will say. So we also had our joint our water issues meeting. So that's 3
right.
now. I know we in 2 weeks, and so we had the Water Issues Council subcommittee with the Vista Grande Project Joint Powers Authority, and so we had that on last Monday on March 21st, which was to be able to create this Joint Powers Authority, really to support the Vista Grande project, which is extremely essential and has been in the works for a very long time, right? The Vista Grande Drainage Basin Improvement Project. And so that was also a committee that we met at. So been busy times, Mayor.
Speaking of water, these meetings are flowing like water. It's like a waterfall of meetings. I also have some other council committee reports. I attended the PCE meeting on March 24th, and there was let me find my notes here. There was, we approved a resolution delegating authority to our chief executive officer to execute a power purchase and sale agreement for renewable supply with Second Imperial Geothermal Company. So we're trying to expand our supply of clean energy for residents up and down the peninsula. Also, we had the Council of Cities that we hosted for Daly City on March 25th, where I was joined by Councilmember Pamela DiGiovanni and Councilmember Justin Manalo. One thing that I appreciated was that we highlighted our finalists this year for our Daly City Youth Poet Laureate finalists. We had 5 youth poets that presented their poems, and they presented it live. So we had Iris Lee, who was an 11th grader at Jefferson High School. She performed a poem called California. We had Hannah De Campo Pham, a 9th grader from Westmore High School, and she presented her poem, Buried Spring. Chloe Chu, a 9th grader from Westmore High School, and she performed her poem, A Portrait of Motherland. Julene Malari, and this was great. Julene had such great presence for an 8th grader from Fernando Rivera Intermediate School, and she performed her poem, A Pause. And the last one was Isabella Izzy de Souza, an 11th grader from St. Ignatius, and she performed a poem called Voyage. And I just wanted to switch it up for our Council of City meetings. Usually we sit in presentations, and I just wanted to expand the space of Council Cities to include our young people within our space and range of electeds around the county. See that. Okay, are there any other council committee reports? Okay. Oh, go ahead, Councilmember Justin Manalo, go ahead.
Thank you. I attended my BOSCA. Thank you very much. BOSCA meeting. Let me give you an update. On March 17th, we had our BOSCA board meeting, and we adopted the following resolution, number 2022-04, which we are actually continuing to host teleconference meetings. We usually have a report from the SFPUC, Mr. Ritchie, and provided us a water supply update. The statewide drought conditions persist. Hetchy Reservoir is likely to fill, but the entire storage system is unlikely to fill. During the 2013-2016 drought, SFPUC filled Hetchy virtually every year by debiting its water bank. The State Water Board curtailments create significant uncertainty about how much runoff we can store, and the drought may extend beyond this year. The state is emphasizing that it's truly a statewide problem. The date water usage reduction performance is promising, but summer water use reduction will be the real test for all of us. And now for also, as of March 14, 2022, 72.7% of the total system storage, which is below normal for this time of year. And we remain in a statewide drought with a snowpack and precipitation with the Tuolumne River watershed below the median. And so on November 23rd, the SFPUC adopted a 10% system-wide voluntary water use reduction target. And for the period of July 1, 2021 to March 3rd, 2022, the total regional water system use is at 5.5%, less than the 2019-2020 levels. And let's see. Also, the Bosca water supply update for January 2022, the total potable water use was 8% less than January 2013. Our next board meeting will be held on May 19. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Justin Manalo. Before we head on to our City Council reports, I just recognized that I provided the wrong last name for Nate for our Board of Recreation. It's not Nate Ramos, it's Nate Ortiz. Do I, Rose, do I have to redo the motion or?
To be on the safe side, we could just go ahead and redo the motion.
Okay.
To be
so I want to redo the motion for reappointing Nate Ortiz on the Board of Recreation.
Second.
Okay, I have a second by Councilmember Pamela DiGiovanni. All those in favor say aye.
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 And Nate, if you're watching out there, I'm so sorry, brother. So I'm going to go ahead to item number 12, City Council reports. Councilmember Pamela DiGiovanni.
Here we go. I want to make sure I'm unmuted. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I'm sure this will be some of the same for for other people. Our Daly City Public Libraries Association held their wonderful, wonderful St. Patrick's Day fundraiser at the Como Community Center. It was really well done. They had the dancers, the Irish dancers, the children. Mayor was there. It was great. And with the children and our assistant city manager, and Leilani. So we all had a really nice table. Food was delicious, and everybody came together to support our libraries. That was like really, really fabulous. Then attended the Jefferson High School 100th anniversary, which I was humbled. I was in the car with the mayor, and it was a parade, but it was a really great parade, even if it was short. I thought they had the marching band, they had the motorcycles, they had Assembly Member Kevin Mullen. They had a lot of great people there to be there to celebrate, put together by many volunteers, being the PTSA, Pitt, and so many other, Teresa Fapua, Raina and everyone, the JUHSD, Congresswoman Jackie Spear, Phil Ting, Scott Weiner, many attendees there. The mayor of Colma was there, and Diana Colvin, council member in Colma as well. So great people, huge crowd, especially in the beginning. I thought it was great. All the different classes from even the alum had tents. They were selling food, music. They had entertainment all day from the Poly Club. So I thought it was fabulous. The sun came out. We didn't anticipate that. But in Daly City weather in the beginning, but the sun did shine. So I think that was like a fabulous, fabulous day of celebrating 100 years of Jefferson, and don't know if we'll be around for the next 100, but it was great. So I know others attended, so I'll let them speak as well on our city council report. So with that, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Pamela DiGiovanni. Councilmember Justin Manalo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will keep this short. You know, last Sunday, I think it was the prior Sunday, Supervisor Canepa, he had a prayer for Ukraine at Redwood City, and had the Consul General of Ukraine there with community leader Oksana. I mean, it was really powerful to have the young Ukrainian American youth speak about, you know, just how they felt and how they are praying for other children out there that are suffering. These were young leaders, like I would say from elementary to junior high, that spoke up and was eloquent, but also, you know, it was a time to just unite and from different denominations be able to pray for Ukraine. And then the St. Patrick fundraiser, it was really great to see Victoria Mabilang. And I know it was her birthday right around that corner. And so I can feel like it was actually pre-pandemic times. That's what I felt from that event. It was finally like, oh my goodness, like it felt like a couple years ago. And so I know it was a mini reunion, but for a wonderful cause. You know, I always also try to give back. And so, you know, purchase some raffle tickets and like to support the DCPLA and came out with a basket. And so that was really nice, which of course I gave to my children. And last but not least, you know, my alma mater, Jefferson Union High School or Jefferson High School, class of 98, my beloved high school. It was so great to see my old principal, staff that were there, and just a mix of alumni from different generations. It was definitely a festive event. Just that mini parade was wonderful too. You felt the energy. So that blue and gold energy right there, that even though it was short, that energy is exactly what Jefferson High School was all about. I mean, spirited. Imagine that as a young person growing up in Daly City and going to Jeff. That spirit was always there, whether you're rooting for your basketball team, your football team, a track team. I mean, I think that's something growing up. Like everyone just got along and supported one another. It's 100 years, and it was really wonderful. Great speech and up there, Mr. Mayor. But blue and gold forever. That remains in my heart. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Justin Manalo. Vice Mayor Ray Ventura.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to take this moment to comment on what I thought was truly outstanding State of the City speech that you gave moments ago. I thought that the presentation with the graphics was very informative, and I'm sure I should thank Ms. Maltby and Stephen also for putting that together, because it was very well done. I mean, it was very clear, precise. You got the points across. But I will say that the most impressive that I felt from your presentation was your closing comments. I thought you were very strong in the end, and you had the effect of, I think, inspiring our people, our community, with the words you said and how you were focused on addressing the people. And so I thought it was very, very well done. And I just didn't want to have the chance not to tell you that. And thank you publicly for a job well done. Thank you.
much, Vice Mayor, from your words. Powerful. Thank you so much. I appreciate those kind words. Councilmember Justin Manalo.
Echoing Vice Mayor Bonaventura, really, Mayor, it was, you can tell a lot of it came from your heart and just your passion to serve our community. And I just wanted to say absolutely wonderful job this evening.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Justin Manalo. Councilmember Pamela DiGiovanni.
Well, rather than go to every part of it, the awareness of the mental health and bringing it into a personal level, that's admirable, because we all been affected. So through the COVID, and I thought that openness, that was really very vulnerable, so that people knew it. So that was very humble. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Pamela DiGiovanni. I just want to say, you know, leadership is only as strong as us, and those kind words are here in my heart. And just want to say thank you to you all as well. Like, we can't, I'm just one person, one vote, but all of us together, it's like a fist, right? You know, all fingers put together, strong fist, strong impact. And thank you for those words. I forgot to have one of my announcements. So before we leave, I forgot, there were so many meetings over these past 2 weeks, but I also was able to participate in the grab and go lunches for March for Meals Community Champions Week on March 21st. And I had the opportunity and honor to serve alongside volunteers to provide meals and foods for seniors that came by, and we gave free food to those that came in person, and we dropped them off in their cars. I really appreciate talking to the volunteers and staff about how they prepare it, why they prepare it, why do they do the work that they do. It inspires me because sometimes we don't see that work out in public. It's not something that we publicize. It's not in the newspapers. It's people that do it like clockwork. So I want to thank everybody, Ann Cooney, all the way down, Opal, all the cooks, all the volunteers. I was able to talk to a couple of seniors, and they're wondering, like, when are we going to start opening up bocce ball? And I was like, soon. We just got to open up safely. I also had the chance to speak to 4 seniors and 4 elders for wellness calls. So I was able to talk to a few people, talk to people that were involved in Daly City staff back in the day. And what became a 5-minute call became a half an hour conversation about how Daly City was in the 50s and 60s and 70s. And, as a person that teaches history, I really appreciate those testimonials because it gives me a picture of how Daly City has grown and where do we want to go from here. And I also talked to some of the staff about what are they doing for those that are not mobile and can go to Dolger to pick up food, and talking about their Meals on Wheels program and delivery program. It just makes me proud to be part of Daly City, and that these are the programs that represent us. And I'm very, very proud of the work that everybody at Dolger is doing. Okay, so with that, any staff reports?
Thank you, Mayor. Just really quickly, I wanted to just echo everyone's sentiment about the state of the city. Stephen Stolte, our assistant city manager, really helped with the department heads gather all that information, really illuminating our incredible workforce. And Leilani did the background, the slides. I really can't take any credit for it, but Mayor, you made it your own, and it was really, really wonderful. So thanks for that, and no other report out.
Anna.
I have a question, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
What if I could ask Ms. Malpe, what is the status of the Ukrainian flag situation?
Good question. We have the flag, and I believe we are awaiting some scheduling with regard to when to raise that. And I know you had mentioned, Vice Mayor, to go ahead and go forward with that event, even if you are unable to, because there is some urgency around that. So we will circle back with the rest of the council either this evening or in the morning to get that going forward.
Great, thank you.
Shauna. Also, thank you to Stephen Leilani. You know, you gave me like the ingredients, you know, and we made a meal out of it. So thank you. I know we have going to adjournment in memory. We have a few. I'm going to go ahead and start with Councilmember Pamela DiGiovanni.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As many of you know, that Dr. Madeleine Albright passed away, who we all know as a tall figure. She was our first woman Secretary of State. In 1993, she was approved by Clinton to be our ambassador to the United Nations. And it was in 1997 that she became our Secretary of State for the very first woman. 2012, President Obama awarded her the Presidential Medal of Honor. One thing that was personal about her is that she was born in Prague, and that she did not find out till later in life that she had 26 members in her family that passed away in the Holocaust, although she was Roman Catholic and grew up that way. She had no idea about her past or history. So, as many of you pointed out, it's our history that shapes us who we are. And I believe I've heard that from our mayor. And so with that, I'd like to close on her memory, and also for the members lost in Ukraine. And it actually has hit a lot of people here that lost loved ones that are over there fighting. So thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Pamela DiGiovanni. Vice Mayor Ray Buenaventura.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like us to close in memory of a lawyer, a friend of mine. His name was Sid Lorvan. Sid was a practicing lawyer for more than 60 years. He went to Albany Law School in 1957, and he was admitted to the New York State Bar in 1958, and then the California Bar in 1961. So he was a private defender attorney, much like I am. And he's been practicing criminal defense. He's actually also the former mayor of Pacifica. And so he just passed away recently, and I'd like us to adjourn in his memory. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And we also have Councilmember Jocelyn Manalo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to adjourn in memory for Miss Zenaida Lontok Peralta, the mother of Joseph L. Peralta. He's a community member and local journalist. Its deepest condolences to you and your family.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Jocelyn Manalo. And we have one last one, who is Jesse Gamez Sr., who is the father of Daly City Police Department Captain John Gamez. And with all those that that was said earlier, I would like to provide a moment of silence. A meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Everybody rest well, and we'll see you in April. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Take care.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone.